Do you feel that? Do you feel it, chat? I think me thinks we might be back. And I don't say that about all the movies. You know what I mean? I don't say that about all the movies, all the shows, all the things, but man, when we needed it real bad, they delivered, dude. This is crazy. So today, chat, we are going to be breaking down the Fantastic Four, the movie, the new. Oh God! Almost just broke my camera. It's the old camera. Don't worry, it's not the new one. We're gonna be breaking down the Fantastic Four today, man. I absolutely fucking love this movie. I think it's incredible. It's actually way better than I expected it to be, which is kind of wild because I had very high expectations for the film. So we're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about it, man. I want to go over, my experience watching it, the things I like, the things that I didn't love as much. Because it's not a flawless film. There's a couple of things I think they could do a bit better, and stuff I'm hoping to see in the next iteration. Because I think that's the other thing is like it is undeniable that we are going to get more of these characters in the next couple of movies, and that is good news. Let me tell you, man. That is good news. I've seen some of the buzz. I've seen some of the stuff that you guys are talking about in the Discord, on the Twitters. It's going to be a great day, man. Lot to get into today. Lot to discuss. We'll talk Superman versus Fantastic Four. I know that's a really hot button topic. I know that's something a lot of people are curious about. So we'll get into that. Lots to get into, man. I wish I had more coffee, though. I didn't end up making an extra cup. So we might have to stop in a little bit so I can get more. Anyway, how you guys doing, man? What did you guys think about the film? How many of you went out and saw it yesterday? Just out of curiosity, let me know. Oh, wow. Sorry, making an adjustment there. How many of you guys saw it, man? What is your score for the Fantastic Four out of 10? Tell me. Let me know. Oh, no. Now you guys are all giving it 1 out of 10. You know, you jumped the gun. Now it looks like it's all 1 out of 10. What the hell? All right, let me catch up on some of these chats and everything. I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you so much. Rossi first in today with the rose. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Are we back? Get your socks ready, says Zach. Oh, hell yeah, brother. I think we are back. Damn, those are a lot of high scores, guys. Whew. That's a lot of high scores. Wow. Fat Tony says, F4 was amazing. Spider-Man MTG looks sick. Marvel is so back. Yeah. I agree. Good things are happening, man. Pitch Perfect Field says, let's go. F4 to the moon. Oh, hell yeah, brother. Thank you, man. Nevin says, yo, FF was fan-fucking-tastic. Love the focus on Franklin and keen to see how powerful he gets. Yeah, dude, we're going to talk all about it today. Couldn't agree more. I thought the way that Franklin was utilized was brilliant. Oh, man, I actually have a lot to say on that exact point because they do the Marvel thing, right? Franklin is so obviously the MacGuffin for not just this film, but probably for other things that are going to happen. And he's obviously funnily enough, he's a lever. He's a lever for some things that I think are going to happen with Doom, the new universe, etc., etc. But they do that old Marvel thing where instead of him just being this MacGuffin that felt like really gratuitous and it was like, oh, here it is. This is so obviously important, like these fucking bangles, 10 rings and shit. This instead felt like they took the thing they wanted to set up for the future and they made it the core piece of the plot. The entire plot revolves around him. And so therefore you have the satisfying experience of like the movie while also having the satisfying experience of the speculation, the theory crafting, all the fun stuff that we love, bro. Like this. Shit. Shit. They did it. They did it. Nate Meyer says 2 bangers in a row. They have the chance to have 4 in a row leading into Avengers 5. Do you think the shows in between will ruin that for the general audiences? You know, that's an interesting question, man. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, look, here, you guys want to hear something kind of crazy? Like, dude, this is actually kind of crazy what I'm about to say right now. The Ironheart show actually charted on Nielsen. So anyway, we'll ignore that. We don't have to talk about it at all today. But more to the point is, I don't know. For me personally, I can say it like this. I have personally decided to take a break, a Marvel break of the Disney Plus stuff. For me, I just can't. You know what I mean? I just can't. I need a little break. Hard to say whether or not I would have enjoyed Fantastic Four more or less had I not taken that break, but all I can say is for sure, really enjoyed this movie, really enjoying my Disney Plus break. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's possible the shows could affect a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I don't really know. All I know is for me, I've kind of set that stuff off to the side, and I'm no longer considering it, like, necessary, you know? And that's made my experience as a Marvel fan a lot more enjoyable. I also think that, you know, this movie's doing really well. I think it's going to do really well. But there's a whole ass year before Spider-Man 4. Like, dead ass, guys, there is a whole ass year before Spider-Man 4. And I think we need that. I think we need that. So even though, yes, Thunderbolts I thought was fire, Fantastic Four is absolutely incredible, Spider-Man 4 is probably going to be dope, and then we'll be going into Doomsday at like 3 in a row that are really, really good. It's also still the case that, like, I think we need to take a little break. We need to miss it. Like, I'm looking forward to the break, ultimately, is I guess the way that I could say it. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a fair question. Let's see here. Jadarnsman says, I don't know what your name is, bro. Says, as someone who is hoping DCU would win the summer, F4 is just far better and is in my top 3 MCU movies. Good luck on your bet, Pookie. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I know that film is kind of subjective or whatever, and there's probably gonna be folks that are like, no, like I straight up like Superman more, and that's fine. To me, I think it gets a little crazy when folks are like, Superman is a better movie. I don't know how you can make that argument, and I love the Superman movie. I don't know. It's subjective. I feel like you could say that you like it more. You could say to you it's better. All those sort of things. I think if you look at the reviews, I think it's pretty obvious to me. Fantastic Four is... I really think it's operating at a different level than Superman. Superman was a movie that I kind of fell in love with in spite of itself. It's far from perfect. You know what I mean? Like, quite far from perfect, in my opinion. And Fantastic Four, although not perfect either, is so much closer. It is so much more... Like, it's just sharper. It's better paced. It's got better characters. Like, it's got a better plot. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's, you know, I have it in my notes, and we'll go over it, and we'll go over it in detail. But, like, I seriously struggle to take seriously anybody that would say, Superman is better cinema than the Fantastic Four. It's like, by what metric? Like, what? No way. Not even close, in my opinion. But, hey. That's just my opinion, right? Ibsy. Oh, God. Ibsy says, with a 10 spot, appreciate you, says, whoa, wee-wah. F4 isn't fantastic at all. It's phenomenal. Thunderbolts, F4, and then Spider-Man. Wow, Marvel is seriously cooking. Feels like the Secret Wars buildup is going to be as epic. Marvel is back. I don't know that the Secret Wars buildup will be as epic as the Infinity Saga, but I do feel strongly that, like, sort of late into the game, they hit a stride, and a lot of the main characters that will show up in Doomsday are awesome. And they've also just had really good movies. Like, I was thinking about this, guys, this morning, and you're going to have to give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I got to go check on something. I'll be right back. But I'll leave you with this thought here. I had this thought, and I'll also leave you with this to tease you, because we're going to go over this. This is pretty cool. I had this thought. We saw a leaked set photo that had shown Ebon Moss-Bachrach hanging out with John Walker. They're in the same scenes together. So, like, dude, 2 characters that I now fucking love. Like, I love John Walker in Thunderbolts. He was incredible. Ben Grimm is my favorite character in this movie, which I'll explain more. It seems like most people think Sue is the best character, and I totally understand that. She was absolutely incredible in the film. To me, Ben Grimm was something special, man. I really, really like Ben Grimm in this movie. The fact that that's our Ben Grimm, and we're going to have that dude, like, with John Walker, that dude, like, I can't wait to see him and Hulk, bro. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, we struck gold. We struck gold with some very important characters that are going to narratively carry this thing into the next bit here, okay? Guys, give me just 1 second. I will be right back. Don't go nowhere. Oh, I thought I had the mic muted. Josh is doing a Sue Storm tribute. Dude, I should have just opened the stream with me in the chair, had the recording off camera, and then just said I'm rocking like that Sue Storm today. Oh, that would have been brilliant. What was I thinking? Let's see here. Joseph says Galactus was incredible. Definitely the highlight. Galactus was so cool, and I had this thought, like, immediately after I got out of the movie, I had this thought. I want to share this with you guys. That's Galactus, right? Can you imagine what Annihilus is going to look like? That's Galactus. Can you imagine what Annihilus is going to look like? Bruh. Like, the next saga, oh, man. Dude, okay, so somebody asked about the buckets. Check this shit out, man. I don't know what happened with y'all. My theater told me they were given 8 of them. I was all excited. I was going to get 3 of these popcorn buckets because I wanted 1 for myself, and I was going to do 2 for giveaways today. Bruh. My theater got 8 of them, and they almost immediately sold out. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's crazy. Dude, I would really like that popcorn bucket. So if any of you kind souls got your hand on any extra ones, hit me up. Hit me up. Okay, so let me just rush through a couple of these other chats here. Let's see here. 9 out of 10 was a great film, says Legend of Sega? I don't know, man. It cut off your name there. Dave Rembolt says, hey, Josh, blessings to you, brother. We are so back. Appreciate the 10 spot, brother, and thank you for the blessings. I think we actually are back, man. I'm going to give a scientific... I'm going to get a chalkboard out and sketch it out like Reed Richards. We are back, and I have science proof. Proof from science. Trust me. It's science. Justy Clemente says, wow, was a good movie. in my opinion, the most visually stunning MC movie in a long time. Nerd Avengers for life. Bro, I'm actually feeling that. Chat, do you agree with that? Do you think this is maybe... Let's do it like this. Throw a 1 into the chat if you think Fantastic Four is one of the most visually stunning comic book movies ever made. Just throw a 1 into the chat if you think it's one of the most visually stunning comic book movies ever made. God damn, that's a lot of ones. Look at that. I agree. I also think that middle section, that action set piece when they go to find Galactus, I think that might be one of the best scenes just ever. Like, dude, oh my God. That sequence is like straight out of a comic. Fucking perfect, bro. Perfect. Oh, man. Thank you, Justin Clemente. Unauthorized says, great movie, no glaze. You know it's great when the grifters change their mind and say it's good. Yeah, that's always a nice thing to see. That's always a nice thing to see. Thanks, brother. John Solo says, you can tell how much care Marvel put into this film. You can also tell how much the cast and director actually cared as well. 9 out of 10. I think that's true, man. I think you can feel it. Like, dude, it's just... This is like a perfect Jack Kirby tribute, man. If you're a big-time Marvel sweaty, and you know Jack Kirby, you know the legacy, you know the impact that he had. Holy shit. This is such a perfect tribute to Jack Kirby. Like, in a way I have never seen, and in a way that is so respectful. Shackman, so Shackman, I think a lot of people are going to start talking a lot about Matty Shackman, of course. And look, the dude's obviously talented, had a great trajectory in his career, gets involved in Marvel, does some cool stuff with WandaVision, etc. But this outing here, this is like a graduation. This is to the big leagues. This is absolute butter, bro. Nothing but net. Buttery execution, peak type shit. Now we will start to have a lot of conversations about Matty Shackman doing stuff in the future of the MCU, and they better lock him up, like they did with Jake Schreier. You got to lock this motherfucker up, because holy, like, they did it, man. They did it. So I'm very happy for him. I'm very happy for everybody involved. I'm happy for the cast. I'm happy for the fandom, dude. It's crazy. TVC McCracken says, Josh, I had a great time watching F4 last night. Galactus and Silver Surfer were incredible. Everything on screen in the new team is great. Are we so back? Chat, I think we're so back. Let's go to the polls. Are we so back? Boom. There you go. Let's see here. Hang on now. Purple Funk says, we are so back. How about that? Love the sci-fi elements. Quinn as Johnny felt perfect. Strong 8. Only flaw would be some pacing issues in the second act. Ranch Vengers for life. Nerd Vengers for life. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, except for that ranch shit. Rossi says, gave F4 8 out of 10 and Superman a 7 out of 10. Feels so good to be a Nerd Venger right now. Between Superman and F4, feels supercharged. God, please help my Star Wars. Yeah, man, I feel you on that, brother. I feel you on that. First of all, thanks for the support. And also, hell yeah, man, it feels good to be a Nerd Venger. This is a 1-2 punch that I think has revitalized the entire game, the entire space. Superman and Fantastic Four deserve a lot of credit. It's also cool that some old school nostalgic characters seem to be the recipe for the fatigue. It's funny. It's like you're trying to do all this all new different Marvel stuff, and you're trying to make Kamala Khan work, and I get it. I don't want to take it there. I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just like there's something about, like, oh no, how about like the shit that kicked it all off, like Kirby, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels right. And then we're getting like a lot of Superman elements, All-Star, Grant Morrison, John Byrne. You get like all the greats, all the different flavors from fantastic writers, fantastic creators, fantastic artists for 60 plus years. It just hits a little different, man. And it feels good. It feels good, Kendall says, fam, Ironheart charted. I know, we're going to ignore that, though. I am not William. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Oh shit, Cool Bear says 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Second best movie after Infinity War to me. Really hope they keep this style for the Earth in the reboot. Oh wow, dude. Well, thanks for the support first of all. And also, yeah, I mean, I get you. I don't quite have it as a 10 out of 10, but I am going to see it again. And I'll explain more of like my score and my thinking on it in a little bit here. But damn, that's good to hear that you liked it that much. I think a lot of folks are calling for something similar to what you're saying, Cool Bear. Like I saw Kendall say he wants Doomsday to change its title to Fantastic Four Doomsday rather than Avengers Doomsday. Because the 616 cast is so weak compared to this team. I think a lot of people are sharing that same vibe. I think one of the things you could take away from this, though, like, here's what I would say to that, is one of the things that's nice to take away is Marvel obviously is aware of that. I think that's part of why they did what they did with the movie. By the way, they stripped out all the multiversal stuff, which is also probably a great idea. All the multiversal stuff is gone, and this movie just works. I think this shows that whatever the reset ends up being, it doesn't have to desperately reach to the past of the MCU. It literally does not have to do that. And I don't think it should. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine that all that shit happened, like the Sokovia Accords, Loki, Battle of New York, all that stuff. But I feel like Feige, even if you just, there's that interview recently where he said, reboot's a scary word. No, it isn't. Reboot that shit. Like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you look at this film. No, it isn't. Phase 4 and 5 were so bad. We're ready to blow the whole thing up. I'm not trying to be too dramatic, but literally let it all die. And we're going to be fine. So like that, hey, that's actually kind of an encouraging thing. Like that, I think that message will get across to Marvel, and hopefully they realize it and they keep it, take it into account. The gaming station 4628 says, once Pedro started talking about moving the Earth, I got so hyped and thought he was going to take the Earth to the sacred timeline and start the incursions there, but that was a dud ending and anticlimactic. Well, first of all, thanks for the support. Sorry that you didn't like the ending. I actually have a theory about that whole thing, and it has to do with Doctor Doom and Battleworld. But, you know, we'll get there in a little bit, but the ending is a little strange. It's certainly not anticlimactic, in my opinion. But its strength is on the stakes and the characters, not so much the actual intricacies of the plot. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get you. Appreciate you, man. Jane says, handed my son a popcorn bucket and Galactus ears broke off each time. Damn. That's terrible. Sorry to hear that. Mr. Penguin 88 with a $20 holla says, I really like the movie, 8 out of 10. I went into it with super low expectations. When they went to go see Galactus for the first time, oh my God. Also got the Galactus popcorn bucket. Then Avatar 3 looks insane. Like, oh my God, that trailer. Oh, for sure, dude. That Avatar trailer. And by the way, they turned the lights down for that trailer. I don't know if that happened in your theater. A lot of the time, they'll keep the lights on for most of the trailers. Bro, they killed the lights for that Avatar trailer. Yo, that shit hit. I'm real excited for that. I love those movies, man. Okay, hang on now. Kaylin says, give Shackman Jean Grey. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, you're right. I think you got something there, man. Joseph Quinn I feel is the MVP of this movie. Nerd Adventures Life said Zack Attack 88. I really liked Joseph Quinn in the film, but I just like Ben more. You know? But yeah. Kendall says movie was a 9.5 out of 10. I thought you didn't do 0.5s. Question though, do you think they should make Doomsday Fantastic Four Doomsday? Out of the 3 teams / world, the Avengers are last. Yeah. I actually just addressed this a little bit ago. But what I'll say is this, bro. They're going to be a big part of it, you know? I think we're all looking at those comments about Reed Richards leading the Avengers, and now we're like, yeah, I hope he was actually telling the truth there. Yeah, we'll see. We can hope that they are the driving force of the plot and they are the leaders. I think they're sort of positioned to be. but they also want to give some shine to the other characters as well, you know? So we'll see how it all shakes out. But let me just say this. After Brave New World, I was like, oh, man. All right, I guess he's going to be a part of Doomsday. All right. After Thunderbolts, I was like, oh, dude, nice. These are characters that are going to be in Doomsday, and I like that. After Fantastic Four, I was like, oh, thank fucking God. Thank fucking God. We got some peak-ass MCU characters going through the next two Avengers movies. Hell yeah. So I kind of feel you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of on the same place. Ethical Prod with a $20 holla. That ain't cheap. Appreciate you, man. Says, what a stellar film, down to the multiple details, or minute details. But my question is, do you see Matt Shackman do an F4 too? With them maybe no longer having a retro theme? Is it likely they'll still run it back? We back in Revenge for Life. Doom on that ship? Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I hope we get Fantastic Four 2, and it probably would be in the 616, but they're also about to go through Doomsday and a Secret War. Like, they're literally about to go through a Secret War. So let's see what happens then, and then let's talk about Fantastic Four 2, right? But I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the love. Mr. Fantastic says, you can tell Shackman loves the F4. Felt like a love letter to F4 fans. I love the movie. We are 100% back. Nothing but bangers coming up. 420 Nerd Avengers for life. Yeah, I think that's probably the case, man. I think they are going to just put out banger after banger. I think Kevin Feige basically was like, look, all this shit kind of sucks. I'm spread way too thin. I need to be more involved with these movies from the jump street. And I think they did actually do that with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I think Thunderbolts is a film that underperformed for a variety of reasons. Maybe the characters weren't popular enough. Maybe the Disney Plus thing. Maybe people just still didn't trust Thunderbolt or trust Marvel. But I would expect that Fantastic Four is going to win a lot of that trust back. And there could be a compounding effect where Thunderbolts does get a lot of love, but doesn't necessarily perform that great. So it's like a lot of people did hear it was good, even if they didn't see it or believe it or whatever. That probably does affect somewhat of the word of mouth for Fantastic Four. Double Placeholder says, I just got volume 1 of Hickman FF. Gonna read it until Secret Wars. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Oh, hell yeah. Mr. Poppy says, so who's on the ship at the end of Thunderbolts? That's a good question. We'll get into it. A lot of folks believing now that Doom will be a part of that. Maybe. Let's see here. Professor Dub says, love the movie. Wish we had Council of Reeds, though. What were the Chris Evans leaks supposed to be? Nomad? Are they saving or scrapping that all together? Bro, this is a whole ass conversation we're going to have today about how the scoopers have been thrown off. All scoopers just got their reputation hit by like at least 20%. And I'll tell you, because Shine is the one that told me about the Chris Evans shit. Okay? She was dead ass wrong. Now, here's the thing. It could have been the case that Chris Evans did film something. I would expect he's still a big part of Doomsday, etc., etc. But she was the one that told me, like, oh, they did the post-credit scene. It's probably going to be this, that, second, and the third. She's wrong about that. Shine was one of the first people that said Galactus wanted Franklin to rebuild his old universe. Dead ass wrong about that. Shine is the one that told me that the planet in the trailer being destroyed was a vision. She was wrong about that. There were a couple other things she was wrong about. But here's the thing. That's actually great. I'm not mad about it at all. I'm actually very excited about it. Because it means while they still have a lot of information that's accurate, Marvel has finally figured out a way to throw them off the scent. I think it's with a lot of fake scripts, a lot of fake development things that then get out and leak out, etc., etc. Even the thing of Ben Grimm does not say it's clobbering time. Now, that one's really interesting because Feige had a company-wide line with the promotion for the Fantastic Four that he was telling companies, do not make merch, do not make things that say it's clobbering time. Okay? Fascinating, because what that turned into was a lot of people saying, dude, I don't think he says it's clobbering time at all. Not only does he say it, but they use the fact that he doesn't want to say it as a bit. You have to appreciate the level of secrecy, throwing people off the set. Like, they finally figured it out, dude. And it's awesome. So we'll talk more about all that stuff a little bit later. But as far as the Chris Evans leak, when I was originally told about it, I was told it had to do with the other Fantastic Four people. And it was going to be like a scene with the bridge or something like that. So, hey, either that was never a thing or it was being shot for Doomsday or something like that. Like, who knows exactly, right? But I'm hyped because it allows us to speculate more. We can speculate more. We can also ignore anything the scoopers say that we don't like, because they're not as accurate as they used to be. Oh, my God. This is a whole new era for Marvel. I'm actually really, really excited about that. But anyway, sorry, I probably yapped too much about that. Chadwick Meyer says 8 or 9 out of 10. Just watch a few extra touches, like shirtless Ben. That being said, I actually love this take on Johnny actually being intelligent. Yeah, for sure. Anawack Beatbox says, I like Cloud Galactus better. Okay, good for you. That's a bold take. Chadwick Meyer says, amending my 8 to a 9. Full 9, literally, just shirtless Ben for the for the final point. Fanjexture says, first time in 3 years since No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2, I can say I've really enjoyed 2 movies in a row. Great and sad at the same time. Yep, I think you're accurate there, man. It's a little bit sad. We've had to weather the storm, but we might be on the other side of it. Clear skies ahead. Kaylin thought, Kaylin, what are you doing with your name here? That scene with Reed was so intense. He doesn't dream. He only thinks about the worst possibilities. You see the guilt and teases of the maker. Ooh, I like that. Unauthorized says, what villain / and/or specific things would you like to see in the sequels? I mean, dude, it's tough because we're about to see them face off against Doom. Like, that's going to be pretty big, right? So that's really cool. In the future, I don't know. I mean, probably like dealing with Franklin, maybe some time travel stuff, Mad Celestials. There's some crazy stuff they could do still. My biggest problem with FF, no Mr. Terrific. Terrific, greater than the Fantastic Four, says Rossi. Hey, Mr. Terrific was great. You know what I mean? Can't deny that shit. Mr. Terrific was great. Okay. Let's talk about the film. Let's talk about the success of the movie, box office, etc. Then I'll get into all my thoughts about it, man. We'll do the full breakdown, okay? But the big question, of course, is, will the Fantastic Four be a hit? Right? I mean, Marvel had a lot of fatigue. Superman is doing pretty well. Direct competition in a lot of ways. And of course, I have my $500 bet with Brandon Davis. I'm going to come to collect like Galactus, by the way, on that shit. So, I'm obviously very invested, literally, with how the performance of these two films is going to go. I don't know if we have the actuals yet. This is from about 8 hours ago, I think. Yeah, this was like 4 a.m. Luis Fernando saying this, and we'll check in a second here. Maybe the actuals did come in. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, as always, more on that later when the final figures come in. Those are the actuals. Spoiler alert, Fantastic Four is seeing a Galactus-size Thursday preview at the U.S. box office. Even higher than Superman's. Fuck yeah! Positioning itself as the new biggest preview of the year. And I would like to point out here, Superman cheated. They did some bullshit Amazon preview shit and added an extra $3 million with FOMO. And they're still about to get beat. Not only that, it's also, and this is pretty crazy, it's beating the Lion King's preview. It's trying to challenge Civil War's own previews. Already one of the 10 biggest previews ever for an MCU film domestically. This is going to be a fantastic weekend for exhibitors, as July can celebrate the renaissance of comic book movies at the box office in the United States. Now, of course, he leaves off the international numbers. It's a little tough. Still a lot of I don't know what's going on in the international markets, man. They don't be fucking with these American movies much anymore. I guess not the comic book Johns. But regardless, this is huge. However, there is obviously a lot of ways this could go bad. Quantumania opened up massive and didn't even get to 5 or like barely got to 5. So that's crazy. However, Quantumania is a fucking terrible movie, dude. Terrible scores, terrible audience scores. This movie's incredible. So you would expect this will do even better. One of the things I keep pointing out is it almost doesn't matter how high this movie opens this weekend. I think the real example and the real thing that will solidify this movie's success is going to be weekend 2. I think you're about to see another Guardians of the Galaxy level thing where the fall off is going to be shockingly low. Shockingly low. That's what I personally expect because I've said it a million times as we've led into this situation, but I'll say it again. The Marvel fandom is so much larger than the DC fandom. It lies in wait. Okay? Deadpool and Wolverine, 1.3, almost $1.4 billion in the middle of not good stuff. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right? So the Marvel fandom, the potential Marvel fandom, I should say, is so much larger than the Superman DC fandom. And I think that's going to carry this thing through to an absolutely insane weekend, too. And then it'll probably operate like pretty regular and, leg out for 4 to 5, 6 weeks. As it stands right now, I'm kind of feeling like 7 is a lock. It's way too fucking early, right? It's way too early, but I'm going to say it anyway. Feels like 7 is where this movie's going to get to. Maybe even more. There's some people out there saying billion. I don't know about all that shit. Like, that would be insane. And also, too, let me just say this. I'm a little ADD. I'm jumping around a bit. The success of this movie compared to the success or failure of Superman is about to be really inconvenient for James Gunn. If Superman barely gets to 6 or doesn't even get to 6, that in and of itself is kind of embarrassing. However, if another movie in the same fucking month, in the same fucking genre, with a lot of the same themes, vastly outperforms Superman, Superman begins to look silly, is the word. I don't know that that's going to happen. Superman seems like it's doing really well. It had a good hold this weekend, or it seems like it's going to have a good hold this weekend, despite Fantastic Four's success. So perhaps Superman continues to leg out and do its thing for weeks and weeks to come. But whatever the gap between Fantastic Four and Superman ends up being, the bigger that gap is, the more embarrassing it is for DC and Superman. Because just a week ago, we were looking at Superman in the context of the other Marvel movies, right? Which made it look really good. Well, you got to be fair. You can't just do that when it serves the purpose of making DC look bad. You have to do it all the time. And we're about to see. We're about to see. So that is kind of fascinating. That is kind of interesting. We'll get more numbers officially later today. Of course, we'll be watching the box office over the weekend. I would expect it to do big numbers. I want to go back and see it again. I think it's peaked, dude. So I want to go back and see it again. But that is pretty crazy, right? Now, in a normal, like if we weren't in 2025, like if we were pre-pandemic, if you're touching Lion King numbers or beating Lion King and touching Civil War, like, dude, I actually would say this thing would get to 1 billion or like at least 900, right? But we do also live in a time where things are very front-loaded. Digital release has just hurt the legs of all big films, and there's a lot of competition out there. So, I don't know. I guess we're gonna see, but for the most part, I'm feeling really comfortable with my bet. And I also think, like, frankly, even if this thing just operates at the level of Superman, it's still a success for Marvel because that's still a lot better than the other two films, and it shows that you're kind of like building that momentum back, building that trust back. So, overall, I would say an incredible start to the Fantastic Four, and I think this shit's gonna pop off, man. I think it's gonna I think it's going to do better than Superman. I'm not sure how much better it's going to do than Superman at this point. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, before we get into the actual film and the breakdown and all the spoilers and everything, does anybody have any thoughts about the box office? Should I talk directly about Superman vs. Fantastic Four? Deadline just dropped the actuals. Oh, sick. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. It beat Superman by 2 million. That's crazy. Okay. So here's the officials, guys. Pretty close, right? Luis's numbers were pretty close, right? Oh, he didn't even give an actual number. He just said the projection. Okay. So here's the actuals here, baby. What timing? W timing. Fuck yeah. Fantastic Four earned a huge 24.4 million in Thursday previews, beating Superman 22.5 as the year's biggest preview haul. Well, how about that shit? Fantastic Four also towered over Captain America Brave New World, which did dude, it did double what the other movies did. Holy, dude, we're fucking back, baby. We're fucking back, baby. Woo! Hot damn. That's crazy. Should we take a peek at this article real quick? Take a little peek skis here, see how good it is or what's going on in the international. Box office Fantastic Four first steps makes 24.4 million in previews, beating Superman and bitch-ass, stupid-ass Superman for biggest movie in 2025. Let's go. Marvel's Fantastic Four are taking big first steps at the box office, earning a mighty... I love how it's 4.4 too. For the Fantastic Four? Holy shit. 24.4 million in previews. The haul is the best preview result of the year, beating Superman's previous record of 22.5, which was actually, if you take 3 million off this, it was only 19.5 on Thursday. They added in those extra previews. Fantastic Four First Steps, latest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is on track to make 100 million to 110 in its opening weekend, although rival studios think it could soar even higher. That means James Gunn scurred. The film starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Evan Baccarat added 90 to 100 million in the international for world. They just keep saying this line. Like, this is the line it was a couple of days ago. Interesting. I told you guys, it felt like they were setting this thing up for triumphant headlines. But to be fair, Monday is several days away. So let's see, right? But my gut has kind of always been that they're trying to set this thing up for, like, shocking. The Fantastic Four makes, like, the money we all thought, but then we lied to you and said it wasn't going to make that. Oh, my God, it's so shocking. Anyway, second superhero movie this month following Warner Brothers Discovery's Superman, which ruled over the box office for the past 2 weeks. Fantastic Four, you know what? I don't even know if we need to read any of this. I think we got it. 2 previous movies, blah, 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 blah. First steps, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. We're good on that. But that is cool. It's cool to get the actuals. Like, it is cool. It's cool to get the actuals. So, to summarize here, guys, like, it's looking good. You know, it's looking like we're back. It's looking like your boy's gonna win the bet. It's looking real good. So I'm excited, and there you have it. That is the start of the Fantastic Four. Read Deadline. They have better numbers. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Let's see what Deadline has. Did they adjust it up? Oh, yeah, I got a tweet about this. Yo, okay, so Deadline says it's going to outlook. It should shoot higher. Okay, yeah, fair. Let me get this pulled up for you guys here. This is kind of interesting. Whoa. It's higher than Captain Marvel, which went on to post a Friday of 62? A 3-day of 150? What? Bro. Dude. James Goon, it might be over for you, bro. Marvel's numbers are fun. Fantastic Four Thursday came close to toppling the opening weekend of the Fox movie. Wow. That's crazy. slower spend on F4 on linear than Warner Brothers did on Superman, 14 to 28. Disney's campaign reached. Okay, so they spent less on marketing than Superman. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, pretty interesting there. But yeah, all good signs, man. Again, it just really does seem like Fantastic Four is kind of fucking killing it. We'll see how high it can soar. But yeah, I think I'm winning that bet for sure. Okay. Can we get into actually talking about the movie now? The movie film? Can I just gush about this shit for a little bit, man? And let's get into some of the spoilers. So, I'll take you through now my my experience of watching the film. Because I had a good ass time, okay? So, sat down to watch the Fantastic Four, and look, I told you guys the other day, unfortunately, I did that thing again where my expectations went through the roof. You know, I don't know how this happened. I love the Superman movie, and I think part of why I love Superman was because I was actually able to meet that movie with the perfect expectations. And what I mean is, like, I listened to a lot of the reviews. We obviously covered some of the drama, the screen testing, some of the changes around the film. So I had expected Superman to be a bit sloppy. And ultimately, the question was like, will it win me over? Is the earnestness of Superman enough to carry through the film, even if it has, like, you know, some issues? And to me, it did. Like, to me, Superman was so good, so fun. I love that movie. It really carried me through. But I got to be honest, if I had Marvel expectations for that movie, and I don't mean like I expected it to be like Marvel, but more like if I had the expectations that I have for every single Marvel movie, I don't know if that I would have loved Superman. You know, frankly, one of the other things that I think is very clear is Superman is a flawed movie. Like, I know some people are like, peak masterpiece or whatever, but that's just like memes. You look at the actual reviews, it's so obvious. Look at the content of the actual reviews. Most people that gave Superman a glowing review loved it, but admitted that it was flawed, acknowledged its drawbacks, you know, all that sort of stuff. That's not what's happening with Fantastic Four. You basically have two camps. You have people saying, like, it's fucking amazing on every count, and then some other people being like, it's good, but I still don't like the Hat Man. Kevin Feige, right? And they're giving it a bad score. That's what I'm seeing out there. That's what I'm seeing. Fantastic Four, I met with incredibly high expectations. Number one, because of the buzz leading up to it, the reviews, everything else, but also because I have core memories. I have core fucking memories with the Infinity Saga, with the Marvel brand, with that logo. Dude, I can't help it. I'm always going to come in with massive expectations for a Marvel movie. And this time, expectations met. Expectations exceeded, dude. Like, my God. So the first thing I'll say is, the very first scene of the movie is a perfect opening scene. It anchors the entire film. I did not realize how important the pregnancy, the child, all of it was going to be to the film. But you have Reed and Sue. They're very well established in that scene. Reed being Reed, looking for something that he can't find, but he's just kind of like soldiering through, trying to figure it out, catalog the entire counter, encounter all the problems, etc. Sue's like, if you give me a second, I'll find it for you. She takes the test. She's pregnant. They discuss the fact that they had tried a couple of years ago and it didn't work. And they were okay with it, but they didn't really like talk about it. And it's like a weird thing. But they're so grateful to have finally done this. And it's awesome. So that catalyst, that opening scene just anchors the movie. You then get into the sort of talk show thing and the montage and beautiful shots, man. That one shot where Johnny comes in and takes all the fire and like absorbs it into his body and all that shit. Oh my God. That shit was so beautiful. A lot of just epic, beautiful shots within that montage. And dude, it's so cool because you can almost, like, I found myself, like, I knew it was the other shoe was gonna drop really quick, right? But the thing they show with the Fantastic Four, and I think this is kind of an underrated element of the movie, is that they are worshipped. They're the heroes of this world. They always solve the problems. And even right before Shalla-Bao shows up, Reed reveals to the entire family that he baby-proofed the world. Okay? He had broken up 47 different criminal organizations on the planet. And it was like Jover, bro. Like, he basically baby-proofed the world. Okay? It was fascinating. And then literally right at that moment when they're like, at the peak, they're doing everything right. There's mystery around the kid. There's mystery. There's a scare there, right? Because Reed just obviously is so grief-strucken with the accident and how it changed everybody that there's concern that maybe the child would get some of that as well. But other than that, they're handling business, and it's crazy. Then all of a sudden, you go right into Shalla-Bao, and you go right into, like, pretty crazy, like, your world is marked for death. You're totally screwed. This is really, really bad. And the way that scene juxtaposed against the very sort of fluffy, fun-loving first part of the film, I really liked the contrast there. It, like, immediately takes you into a real serious mode. And yet, a lot of the world and the Fantastic Four themselves at that point are still confident that they will figure this out, that they will protect these people. And the very launch of the ship to go out and beat Galactus becomes this ceremonial thing that, like, the whole world is excited about. They're actually not that afraid. They're celebrating their heroes as their heroes are about to go do their thing. And I just thought, what a perfect launch pad. No pun intended, but, like, what a perfect launch pad for the film. This movie, it's super Jack Kirby. Okay, it's so Jack Kirby, but you can feel Stan in here too. Because one of the things that, like, Stan did, and he was really good editorially. You should really study more Jack Kirby and Stan Lee together. There's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misunderstandings of what that was like. My impression of it all, after, like, a long time of diving deep on it, was that Kirby was, in a lot of ways, the idea guy, the character guy, but Stan was, if nothing else, an incredible editor. He was able to, like, really bring it all together in the final product, you know, actually putting in the words, et cetera, et cetera. The element that's very Stan Lee in this film is that things keep going wrong, and you keep thinking to yourself, how could they possibly get out of this? Stan has this one quote, I wish I had it on hand, but it was something like, the perfect Marvel story is putting the heroes in a position that seems so impossible that you struggle to think of how they could get out of it, and yet you know at some level that they will, because they are the heroes, right? So that just keeps happening in the movie, and I love the jump pad of that into the plot. They leave, they go after Galactus. This entire middle sequence of the movie might be top MCU, like, peak, like, top 3. Holy fucking shit, dude. It feels ripped out of that. There was a Fantastic Four story from a couple of years ago that, oh my God, I can't believe Alex Ross did. And dude, there were many sequences or many shots in this sequence that felt like ripped right out of that Alex Ross book. It's peak Fantastic Four. The travel looks absolutely incredible. The interstellar travel, getting into the planet, witnessing the planet's destruction, the fact that they try to cloak and get around, the fact that Galactus finds them and finds Franklin and then brings them in. I love that when the Silver Surfer just goes into their ship, dude, just like goes right into the ship. Peak, dude. And then it just gets nuts. It just gets crazy from there. Now, I want to stop for a second. We'll talk more about, like, why the Scoopers got this wrong. But this is really important. It was rumored that what was going on was Franklin was so powerful, Galactus would recognize Franklin as being able to restore his old universe. That was, I don't know if that was ever true, but that is absolutely not what's going on in the film. This is much more like Earth X where Franklin becomes Galactus. So in Earth X, it's like an alternate, reality version of Earth. The Celestials kill Galactus. Franklin ends up becoming Galactus, sacrificing his humanity because he knows that Galactus has to exist, like as a force of the universe or whatever, he has to exist. So it's much more that, and it's much more power cosmic than it is Omega level mutant. It doesn't do anything with the multiverse, right? Because here's the thing, and this is something that, look, I'm trying to be fair here. I played a role in this as well as far as spreading this stuff around. But a lot of our key information brokers, like even Alex Perez, he had a scoop like a year ago, maybe more, where he said Galactus was going to be the only Galactus in the entire universe. And then he walked that back and said, no, it's actually that Galactus is from a different universe. Now, technically that's true, but the impression Alex gave was that this was some multiversal thing. This was connected to Doomsday, maybe the incursions and shit like that. That's not at all what it is. What Galactus says is, I was once a mortal like you, and then my universe was destroyed, and I became this. So it's just regular ass Galactus from a universe like 14 billion years ago or some shit. It's Galen, right? Like it's comic book shit. It's not MCU shit. And I love that because it means so much more for the family, for the character. Like, think about it like this. They have this son. They're about to go through all of this stuff, right? They're about to face the destruction of universes. They're about to face the destruction of the multiverse. They're about to face Doctor Doom, incursions, all sorts of crazy stuff. They just had an encounter. I guess it'll be years ago at this point, but very early on, they have an encounter with this space vampire eldritch horror monster that tells them your son is hiding his true nature from you. He will replace me. He is the heir to this cursed throne. Damn, that's some heavy shit. That's way more heavy than, your son is going to eventually become so powerful he could restore a universe, so I'm going to take him if that's chill. No, this is totally different. It's like your son is connected to a cosmic destiny to become the horrific monster that kills billions of people by destroying worlds that you're looking at right now. God damn! Like that. That shit worked for me, and it was heavy. It was surprising. I can't remember the last time I was actually surprised in a Marvel movie. Wasn't surprised in Superman at all, by the way. I knew literally every bit of the Superman spoilers. This was just enough to throw me off and surprise me when it came to Fantastic Four. Really, really cool. So anyway, you go from that moment, and you go into this nuts action sequence, dude. Ben blasting through Galactus' ship, tears out there, they're flying away, the pregnancy is going on, so many ticking time bombs. The tension in this scene was absolutely incredible. Reed trying to keep it all together, telling the team what to do, trying to help Sue. Bro, this was a really good Reed Richards scene. Like, he's literally stretched thin. Figuratively and literally. It was really cool, and I love how things kept going wrong. They had to calculate it on the fly. They end up doing the slingshot move around the black hole, which I thought was absolutely incredible. They use so many brilliant techniques to just continue to add in the tension and the frustration and all of that sort of stuff. Like, dude, it was straight up peak, dude. This sequence is absolutely incredible. And then you get back to Earth, okay? And the press conference is there, and like everybody's like, okay, tell us how'd you defeat Galactus? Like, hell yeah, our heroes have returned after a month, which is actually important because it took an entire month for her to break free, and then they mentioned that they were gone for an entire month. So really, like, it all kind of makes sense how it all goes. Really sharp. But it's just awesome how the world's like, what the fuck do you mean, dude? And they all get really angry. There's a lot of tension. I think this is appropriately explored via Ben, because Ben is a little bit more of a man of the people, and he's out there experiencing what's actually going on. So I thought that was really cool. Sue and the family come out. They make their speech, and she talks about moving heaven and earth. Reed has been working on the teleporter. He has an absolutely outlandishly fucking crazy idea, and that's to teleport Earth across the universe. A little wild. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. That's a little wild. You know, that's pretty crazy. At the same time, I do think they do a good job of showing just how exhausted Reed was trying to figure out all the different options. I really like how he said the samples show that he's like 14 billion years old from a different reality, and he's unknowable. Reed says, as the smartest person on the planet, it would take him 10 years to fully understand Galactus and figure out a way to beat him. 10 years. Crazy. So you can see that, like, they're very desperate. There is no solution. Everything feels really dire. I do still feel that the plan is really, really wild, but it's a Reed Richards plan. This world trusts them, so they go at it. They start to build it up. Now, all the while, Johnny Boy, the Riz Master, he's had moments with Shalabao. And there's also these other recordings of different worlds that are being sent out and beamed out there that the Fantastic Four keep picking up. And this includes some of Shalabao's own planet. Therefore, he's able to understand her language because she says some stuff to him originally, and then she repeats it on Galactus' ship where they're able to record it. So Johnny's like deciphering her language because basically he's fallen for her. He's trying to figure out her love language, and he thinks he can turn her to their side, right? So while all of the Reed Richards building stuff is going on with the teleporter stuff, Johnny's trying to crack the code of the language. He begins to understand it and get there. He does pull off a pretty crazy maneuver where Silver Surfer comes to the Earth. She starts blowing up all of the teleporter things around the world, ruining Reed's plan. But then Johnny's plan kind of works to the degree that it sends her away. He translates her language. He beams it all over the communication devices. He kind of like psychologically messes with her and lays a bunch of guilt on her. Now, this was actually a really cool parallel. My wife pointed this out, and I thought it was pretty brilliant. Sue says in her speech, I'm not willing to sacrifice my son for this world, but I'm also not willing to sacrifice this world for my son. The reason that's so cool is because it is in direct opposition to the choice that Shalabao made. Shalabao is literally sacrificing world after world for her child and for her planet. So it was like kind of cool. Like I kind of like that juxtaposition. And then it brings even more weight onto it when all of that is laid upon Shalabao and she finally feels the guilt of it, takes off, and is, you know, kind of out of the picture for a while. So anyway, this all goes down. And then they formulate a new plan where they're going to teleport Galactus away using Franklin as bait. Okay. Galactus shows up, and dude, like, a lot of concern here. You know, Galactus was so fucking cool on the ship, but he's also like kind of hidden in shadow. He's standing there. He's not like in the real world. He's in his own environment. It's really easy, or I shouldn't say easy, but it's easier to make something like that look cool. It's going to be a little trickier when he actually is walking around New York City. There were a lot of ways that could have looked terrible, a lot of ways that could have looked shitty. I think they used a lot of practical effects. I think they literally had Ralph or somebody else in a big-ass suit walking around a modeled set of New York because the lighting was phenomenal. And that's a big deal when you render something like that. It looked good. It looked really good, dude. Like, I was shocked. I was like, oh, my God. I thought maybe they were hiding it in the trailers because they thought it looked like ass and they didn't want to expose that, right? But that is not the case, man. It looked absolutely incredible. So I love that element of it. The end of the film's really interesting because, you know, the plan doesn't work. Galactus figures it out. And he goes after actual Franklin, and he gets him. He gets Franklin, man. It's really crazy. Like, he gets him, and he's going to literally just take him and make him now the new Galactus, so the Galactus, I guess, can just die or whatever. And then we see some of the malice energy. Now, there was a moment in the middle sequence of the film where Sue tells Johnny to kill the Silver Surfer. That was a little bit of that malice energy, too. Which, by the way, Vanessa Kirby has said in multiple interviews that she studied a lot of the elements of Sue, including the Malice character. So she was completely tapped in to what that is like. And basically, dude, it was perfect because you get a little bit of a hint of it in the scene with the surfer. And then at the end of the movie, she goes like full on Malice, and she's very powerful. Like Sue is that powerful. So she's going full ass Malice, pushing Galactus back. They get the child. You know, Galactus is put into the teleporter. We think we win the day. Oh no, he's coming back in. What the fuck? Johnny goes to make the ultimate sacrifice. Shalla-Bal comes in, saves Johnny, takes Galactus through the teleporter. Everybody's saved except Sue is dead, right? Sue is dead. It cost her all of her energy to do that to Galactus. She's dead. So the whole team mourning her, Reed trying to save her with resuscitation over and over again. Really powerful scene. Really powerful scene. And then Franklin's like crying. He wants to touch his mom. He wants to get over to his mom. I thought the way that they did this was incredible. He brings her back to life, dude. It was nuts. This fucking kid, the whole movie, you're like, does he have any powers? Is Galactus full of shit? Like, what is going on here? The end of the movie, he literally brings his mom back to life. And it was so good, dude. It was so good. It was so epic. My God. Like, really, really impressive the way that scene went down. And so then that's kind of the resolution. You know, we get into the 5th year of the Fantastic Four. Franklin's aged up a little bit. They're doing their thing. Everybody still loves them. They're doing their thing, right? So really, really cool. Now, let's talk about the post-credit scenes. There's obviously the cartoon one, whatever. The really big one is the Doctor Doom one, okay? The really big one is the Doctor Doom one. Now, this was a scene described it about a month ago after the screening in Long Island, and it's essentially that same scene. It's described a little, you know, it's like a telephone game with these leaks and shit. And by the way, chat, there are 2 moments in the movie that show the Latvian flag and the absence of Latveria in this film. Some people are trying to say there's no sign that Doom is from this universe and knows them. I disagree. I think there's actually a lot of evidence that Doom is from this universe. They have experienced each other. One is the fact that there's the Latvian flags, but the other is the scene with Mole Man. Okay, now this isn't going to make total sense to you unless you're a comic book fan. The reason the Mole Man scene is in the film is to establish that Reed does have this rivalry with a lot of these key villains. Okay? And I think that would extend and include Doctor Doom. So to me, the Mole Man scene with Reed and him arguing was kind of important to show, oh, in this lived-in world, Reed has had all of these rivalries with all of these different really powerful people, right? So I think Doom is from this universe. But beyond that, man, a lot of people leaked the Doctor Doom scene, and man, there was a lot of anti-Marvel sentiment on Reddit and on Twitter where people were like, fuck it, here's the whole scene, enjoy your Marvel slop, this, that, second, and the third. And I think it was misrepresented because you look at it in isolation, you look at it on a shitty phone or whatever, and it doesn't look as cool. I'll just say this, man. Watching it in the theater, I thought it was really good. Remember, this is now 2 scenes that we have seen directed by the Russo brothers. The first one is the post-credit scene of the Thunderbolts movie. It's fucking awesome, dude. The sensibilities, they get the characters. It's like, dude, they're back. Like, the Russos are back, and they still got it. This scene also felt incredible. It's a little different than the movie. Has a slightly different sensibilities, like the shot selection, even the color palette's slightly different. This is probably on the sets that they built for Doomsday, not the sets that were built for Fantastic Four, although maybe they're similar, maybe they're the same. But the point is, man, this scene rolls up. I love it. I love the performances. I love how it was shot. I love the music. I love the reveal. Like, dude, it worked for me. Now, having said that, for sure, we all want to see our DJ's face. We all want to hear our DJ's voice. Okay, obviously. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, why didn't we get that? Okay, why didn't we get that? Why didn't we get more? The thing is, this is a perfect post-credit scene because there's so many different ways you can interpret it. A lot of the folks that saw this film early were saying that it looked like Doom was going to take Franklin. I don't know about you guys. I do not see that in this scene in any way, shape, or form. To me, it seems like he took his mask off to try to get some trust with Franklin. Franklin isn't afraid. Franklin is touching his face, or at least reaching out for his face. Okay? On top of that, Sue comes around the corner with her powers ready. She sees Doom, and there appears to be hesitation. Otherwise, she would just attack. What's up with the hesitation? The hesitation makes me think she knows Victor. Remember, Sue's relationship with the Mole Man is very likely a... what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a mold or a model for how Sue will relate to all of the other villains. This is very common in the Fantastic Four books. Namor hates Reed. He likes Sue. Mole Man hates Reed. He likes Sue. Victor hates Reed. He really likes Sue. Okay? So I think this is more than meets the eye. I think there's some subtleties and some nuance here that are actually meant to not give you all the answers and not have you ruin the surprise, ruin the reveal. Now, for a year and a half, we will be asking questions about this post-credit scene. We will be analyzing this film. We will be thinking about Victor Von Doom. That is actually better than if we just full-ass saw his face and he's like, I'm back, baby, 100 mil, you know, or whatever you wanted out of that scene. Like, this is actually the better version, but I do agree it's a little surprising. It doesn't necessarily feel like what you would have wanted, but I'm telling you right now, like, take your vitamins. This is good for you. This will be better for the overall picture. So, those are my thoughts. That's my experience of watching the movie. Those are my full-ass conversation, my full-ass breakdown, you know, everything I sort of thought about it. There's other elements I want to get into as well here, but that's kind of like the basics of it. So there you have it. There you have it. Okay, let me look, try to catch up on a couple of the other chats here. I got a couple other things to say. Yeah, I got a couple other things to say still. But, yeah, overall, I think that's a lot of the main points. I would be curious if you guys have any questions about anything I went over there. Okay, let's see here. F4 is the best Marvel movie since Endgame. If anyone who doesn't agree, I will slap their grandma. Big love, Josh. My man. Hype. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, slap them Grammys, man. Slap them grandmas, bruh. Thunderbolt started the comeback movie. Oh, hell yeah. Were you expecting more for the post-credit scenes? Yeah, I think so, but I'm satisfied with what we got. Will Galactus be returning, and where did he go? That's a great question. I would like Galactus to return. I'm not sure where he will show up next. Let's see here. So Doom is from their universe? I believe so, yeah. Let's see here. Doom, Mephisto, F4, recast T'Challa, and I'm on board. Brother, I'm telling you, I think we got all that shit coming, man. Oh, I think Marvel did it, man. I think they saved their own ass. I do. I think they saved their ass. It's kind of wild. Let's see here. Bait Shop Show says, Stark has no need to make weapons, so he makes home products now. Thanks for all you do for the community, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And, yeah, fair point. Pitch Perfect Field says, seeing the movie with my wife while having a boy this year was truly special. Reed had multiple lines that just hit me so hard in the feels. Nerd Vengeance for life. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Being a dad myself, really cool. Really cool to connect to the character, the situation, all of that sort of stuff. I was so shocked at how anchored it all was to him. But yeah, I mean, a kid changes your life. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's so funny. Every single time they're like, nothing's going to change. I was like, okay, yeah, just wait. Yeah, super cool, man. I'll say this too about Reed. Let's stop and talk about Reed for a second, okay? So a lot of folks were very skeptic of Reed, Pedro being Reed, I should say. And the movie works, and he works as Reed Richards. So I think in that sense, it is a success. However, I want to give some slight pushback to this idea that Pedro is the reason that Reed works in this movie. I actually don't agree with that. Okay, now walk with me on this. Hear me out on this. All of the best moments that solidify Reed come by way of the characters around him. Like, there are some little moments where Sue, in that one, in the very beginning, where Reed says, due to some miscalculations on my part, there's like this subtle moment where Sue's like, stop, you know? There's a moment where Ben and him have a conversation later in the film, and Ben says, or Reed said, Ben says, who could have known? And Reed says, I could have known. And he takes on all this responsibility because he is that smart. And, you know, Ben Grimm's like, yeah, I got news for you, pal. You're not even that smart. And they're sort of like joking about it. But he's like, you've got to stop beating yourself up about it. The weight of that scene comes from Ben. It doesn't come from Reed. But it does actually fill the character of Reed out. Okay? I think the reactions to the characters around him do more than the actual performance. There was a couple times where I felt like Reed was getting a little too much into that accent, a little too much like, look here, see? And I hope that he actually does better in the future films. So it's not to say that I didn't like him in the movie. I do like him in the movie. The unit itself works beautifully, but I'm not ready to say that Pedro's the perfect Reed and that, like, he's the reason he works in this film. I think it's the writing. I think it's the characters around him. I don't know. Is that a hot take? Is that a hot take? Do you guys agree? Do you not agree? What do you think? Carl says Reed was the worst of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, I think he was, yeah. It's a hot take. I kind of agree. Yeah. Yeah, I that's just the way I see it, man. Like, yeah, there was never a moment there where I was like, oh shit, like, Pedro, you're doing it, you know? Yes, it was very Reed and I agree. So Textbox says when they have to then trust Reed again on the mission, beautiful. I loved it. But Reed is just Reed in that scene. Like, you know, it's the emphasis is Ben. Ben just had this whole conversation with him about how he's not that smart, and he's asking him to trust him. He just decides to trust him. Like, that scene's beautiful, but it's carried by Ben. You know? I think one of the things that Pedro does really well is be sort of almost disassociated. Like, he's so focused on all the individual tasks and, like, thinking through things that he does feel a little despondent and disassociated, which is good. Like, that shit works. And I'll give him credit for that. But again, I think it's really the writing. I think Matt Shakman, the writers, which one of them is the guy on Blade now, right? I think they absolutely cooked. And I think that the unit works perfectly together. But I got to be honest, I almost feel like you could switch out Pedro for many different other competent actors, and this works just as well. Because the other part of it is so strong. Like, that's just my opinion. Might have to do with the fact that they're only superheroes in their universe. It feels like it falls on his shoulders. That's true. That's fair. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. The Van Fam with a 10 spot. No message, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Chris says, is it possible for Galactus to follow them into 616? Probably not. But we'll see. Did Doom help Sue get Prego? I don't know. That's an interesting theory. Kind of doubt it, but maybe. Maybe it's his son, huh? Wouldn't that be a twist? DBZ now says Galactus was nerfed in this movie, especially in the third act. He should easily destroy that teleporter and then push back by Sue. Yeah, I just don't agree, brother. But thank you. Let's hear. Chadwick Meyer says, with a 10 spot, damn, very generous. says, I hope they explore Johnny's mentality. Interesting. He just wants to be in space and go back to space so much and then almost sacrifice himself twice. Seems like he has everything and yet feels so empty. I like that. Yeah, I like that. There's a lot that they can do with this team. These characters are interesting. I think they're all going to develop. Jimmy Rabbit says, I wish Sue would have said Victor. Yeah, that would have been nice for sure. What if she says Tony, though? What? Carl says, will 828 and 838 be related? One at RDJ, but I get it. Marvel is back. DC had a good run. Yeah, DC had a couple of good weeks. You know what I mean? DC had a couple of good weeks. But order has been restored. Chad says, I thought Johnny sacrificing himself in the portal would parallel him trapped in the negative zone. However, not enough time to do that before Doomsday. Dude, 100%. You absolutely nailed it. I was thinking the same thing, but yeah, they need him for the next couple of movies. For sure. Shalomi Leaner says, both your leaks for Soups and F4 were spot on. Can't wait for more of them. They were close. Superman we were actually closer on Superman. The Fantastic Four things, a lot of the leakers and scoopers got a few things wrong. So there were some things that were surprising in Fantastic Four. But yeah. Jay Cross says, I know you all thought of me as soon as she said 12 seconds. 12 Avengers unite. Bro, there is a part of the film, and I'm trying to remember what part it was. Chat, somebody help me out here. They said something like 4 out of 5. There was some weird terminology that they used in this movie. At one point, they said something like 4 out of 5 something or other was bad. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? I have to go back and find this because it felt like a little bit of a low-key shot at Phase 4 and 5. Oh, that's what it was. The chances of a girl. Okay. So walk with me on this. Some of you are going to get triggered by this. Some of you are going to think it's really clever. So the odds were 4 out of 5 that it was going to be a girl. To me, that felt like a little bit of a shot at Phase 4 and 5 and how it treated female characters. Yeah. I remember hearing that in the movie, and I literally processed it like, is that like a self-aware joke about how many times they were like, oh, it's another female character in Phase 4 and 5? I'm just saying. I don't know if it is. But I heard it, and I was like, yo, that's kind of funny. That's kind of clever. Oh, it's a big stretch? Oh, that's a bigger reach than Reed? Yeah, right. Valyria must be in Doomsday. Yeah, that would be sick, dude. More of a Valyria Easter egg? No, it's a really clever... No, you guys are missing it. Come on. I bet whoever wrote that line knew exactly what they were doing. Anyway. Grizzly Chan says, I wasn't a fan of what they made the Future Foundation to be, a United Nations rather than what it was in the comics. Much love, though. Solid 8 out of 10. Yeah, that's fair. Future Foundation in the comics is, like, way cooler. I wonder how much of that changed over the course of the process of making this movie. Because they clearly changed a lot of this film, man. You know what I mean? Like, they clearly changed a lot of it. Expo City says, I don't know if you've addressed it yet, but I see some people don't like that Sue was able to push Galactus like that solo. I love the moment because it took it as a mother lifting a car to save her body. Well, I mean, yeah, I think there's two things there. I think there's number one, Mama Bear, but I also think number two, like there is comic book precedence for this. Like Malice was a thing. Sue loses it and is a fucking problem, dude. She is that powerful. Like, it would be different for me if Sue didn't have these powers, never did anything like that in the comic books, and then they were like, you know what? We want her to just find some power. No, that's not what happened. Like, this makes perfect sense to me. And also, if people are trying to conflate that to her leading the team, that is so bad faith. That's like slackjaw, short bus, simple jack type thinking. Like, that's not what happened there. That's like Mama Bear energy in a desperate moment. They went with Reed's plan every single time. You know what I mean? And by the way, it was Reed's plan that works at the end of the movie. Like, sometimes people get themselves in like a mental pretzel or a knot to try to like make something woke or like whatever, right? It's just like, that's just not what it is. Like, it's so clearly not that. So you'll have that for sure. King Wave says Shalabao carving the fuck out of magma and wormholes was peak. Absolutely loved F4. Stoked for my rewatch tonight. Much love, nerds. Unity. Oh, hell yeah, bro. This movie really made me want to get Unity out there. I know that sounds crazy, but there's some really cool stuff in Unity that this movie reminded me of, and I was like, oh shit, like, dude, I got to get the spectacle out there. I got to get my ideas out there, you know? But Juan Gomez says, G was pushed to the end of the universe. Incursions are when two universes collide. G will be seen in 616. It's possible. I don't know for sure. I think they have enough going on with Doomsday and Secret Wars. I don't think you need to, like, have Galactus be a big part of that. But, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, Galactus is really cool, obviously. So I think there'll be more of him. By the way, there's this. Do you see this? There's part of my hair has, like, curled up towards the back. And it's leaving, like, a baldish spot. And it's really irritating to me. I keep seeing it, and I'm like, why is that curl like that? It's goddamn curls, bro. Your theory on how this ties with the Thunderbolts and their end credit scene. Right, so we're going to do a lot of speculation about this. I'm going to do a whole video about it. I think Victor is going to reveal to them what is going on in the multiverse. I think Victor will. I think Victor's on that ship. I do. I think Victor will accompany them, and they'll probably turn the portal, and Reed and Doom together will transform the bridge so that it can go multi-dimensional. And that's probably how they're going to enter 616. That's my prediction. All this stuff about him taking Franklin, I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe that shit. I think that James McAvoy guy is full of shit. I could be wrong. That's just what I think. But why are they going? I think they are going possibly because of the incursions. But it's also possible that 616 is the only safe universe, or like the last safe universe, right? So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot that's like going around my head. So like one thing I keep thinking about, right, was like about a year ago, Gary from Nerd Erotic had a scoop. And like apparently he just drops a bunch of random scoops. Some of them have been correct. Like he had Punisher and Hulk in Spider-Man 4 before a lot of people, right? One of the things Gary said about a year ago was that they wanted Robert Downey Jr. to destroy the Fantastic Four universe because they want you to see the face of this guy you thought was a hero do this absolutely horrible, crazy thing. If that is still true and that was recorded, then like, what if the scene with Reed, or rather, what if the scene with Doom and Franklin is basically like Doom being like, yeah, sorry I didn't help you out with Galactus, but there's something way crazier going on. The entire universe is about to be destroyed. So I'm out. And then he blows up the universe or something. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it could go, man. A lot of different ways it could go. And because this movie did throw the scoopers off, I'm now starting to like look at all the other rumors and scoops and start to like question them and be like, yo, like, what does this mean exactly? So basically, we're back because now we get to speculate, have these questions, do theories again. Like, this is wild, bro. But yeah, I don't think Doom is going to take Franklin. Another reason I don't think so is Kevin Feige literally said that what Doomsday is the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers fighting against Doctor Doom, right? But we also know that Fantastic Four and X-Men do assault the X-Men universe. So there's obviously something more than just all of those characters fighting against Doctor Doom. I think they'll probably eventually all fight against Doctor Doom, but I don't think that's how it's going to start. Another thing that's really interesting is the scoopers were indicating that Doom presents himself as Tony Stark. Now, that could be wrong. That could be like the whole Franklin Richards thing, where they just got a fake script or a fake dialogue thing, and they're just wrong. But if that's true, I just have a lot of trouble figuring out how is he going to trick the Fantastic Four to work for him? How's he going to trick the Avengers to work for him? Like, this is wild. So we're obviously missing some pieces here, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's see here. I really do think all four were standout performances. That's what makes it a beautiful movie. I agree. They're very, very good. To me, Ben is my favorite. I just thought he was the glue to everything. He's holding a lot of the scenes together. He's literally the rock of the team, which was really cool. Loved Ben. Sue and Johnny are both absolutely incredible. I like Reed. Pedro's serviceable as Reed, but I'm not so in love with him the way that everybody else is. I'm hoping more. Because the thing is, Pedro's very talented. He obviously took this seriously. My impression here is that the performance was reductive, meaning there's probably a lot of Pedro stuff on the cutting room floor. Because I think they dialed him back. I think he's actually cut out of the movie a little bit. However, what he performs in the film works. I would expect it's going to be even better in the other film. And I think Reed versus Doom is going to be epic. You know, we heard that Pedro went to Downey's house and they did deep research together. Whatever that means. It's good shit. Samuel says, I love the idea of Frankie Baby going against his parents' wishes, learning from Doom because of his current curiosity and Doom's knowledge as well as his own. Yeah, that could be cool. That could be cool. Chadwick says, my favorite scene, more than the space escape, is Johnny Solo confronting Shala and yelling and causing her so much anxiety. So much agency gave me chills. Yeah, you know what? One of the things I was thinking as I was watching the movie was like, this movie feels like it was written by a really good dungeon master. And I'm not talking like 50 Shades of Grey. I'm talking Dungeons and Dragons. What I mean is, so let's say you're running a Fantastic Four campaign. One of the things you want to do for your characters is give them all a little bit of the spotlight. Okay, this is a big thing in RPG campaigns. You're developing a story, but it's really character focused. So you have to find a way to give each and every player, and therefore their characters, a moment of shine. The Fantastic Four movie is like a perfect campaign. It gives major shine to all of the different characters. And in that sense, like, nobody is underserved. Everybody gets a cool moment. Maybe it's just the case that people gravitate towards one individual scene or character over the other, and that's fine. But like, damn, dude, really well done. I really am curious what happened with The Watcher. Jeffrey Wright was supposed to be cast in this. Scooper L cut along with the multiverse stuff. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think we'll get more information as time goes on. Like, after Multiverse of Madness, a lot of stuff came out that we were like, oh shit, the Scoopers were right about this, and then they just changed it. If that is the case here, we'll probably get evidence of that. But I also think it's possible Marvel's just throwing them off the scent, right? So Marvel might have actually figured it out, and I think that would be cool. You think Franklin will play an Owen Reese role? I think maybe yes. 5-hour chalkboard stream when? Soon. Soon, man. Duh. Soon. Hello. Duh. Soon. Franklin can warp reality, so maybe he turns Tony into Doom? What? Damn, dude. That would be crazy. He just turns Tony into Doom? That would be wild. What are your thoughts on Doom's mask? Personally, not a big fan, but they probably based the design on some Roman mask with a face on it. Yeah, I don't love it either, but we'll see. Maybe they'll adjust it for the actual film, or maybe it looks lit in the movie. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's too shiny for me. You know what I mean? It just looked a little too shiny. That's not the real mask. It might not be the real mask. I don't know. We're going to see. Also, remember, if they're from the same universe, this is still kind of in the 60s. So it's not like we're looking at like modern 2023 Doctor Doom. We are quite literally looking at a 1960s, 1970s Doom, which is, I mean, you look at the Fantastic Four, right? And they're wearing stuff like this. I would assume it's going to be upgraded for the future MCU movies, right? Ibsy says, we need a whole ass montage of Reed solving problems on a whiteboard, like when Tony figured out time travel. Yeah, and I think we probably will. What if we get a Science Bros with Tony and Reed? That would be sick. That would be sick. Or he's going to upgrade with Stark Tech. True. Absolutely. That could be the case. Yeah. That could be the case. Is there only one Franklin Richards in the multiverse? We don't know. But we do know that 838 said Reed. 838 Reed said he had children. Not a child. Children. I have children of my own, he said. So he probably had a Franklin as well. And by the way, that Franklin absolutely could bring his dad back to life, just like this Franklin brought his mom back to life. C-Dub says, can we give it up for Matt Shackman? I've been saying for a while that he's a great director who's just coming into his prime. Let's keep him on the roster, Marvel. Oh, absolutely. I agree with that, bro. 100%. 100% on that one, brother. I always thought that dude was good, and I was excited that he finally got his opportunity here. Did he do a movie? Did he do some Star Trek thing, or was he supposed to do Star Trek maybe? Maybe that's what it was. I think he was being looked at to do the next Star Trek movie. But yeah, dude, he was great. Steven says, I low-key want The Thing and Professor Hulk to have some scenes. Oh, dude, for sure. Ben Grimm and Hulk is going to be great together, dude. 100%. I like the way you could hear the rocks click when Ben walked around. Yes, a very, very good touch. Very good touch, for sure. Johnny Roof says, would you ever be willing to do a collab with someone who isn't on social media but a diehard Marvel movie fan and chop it up? I'm up to it. I've thought about this before, man, and it's not that I wouldn't do it. Like, I probably wouldn't do it with, no offense, like a random person, but like, so there's a guy I know, right, that I used to, when we went to the same comic book shop, we'd talk comics all the time. This dude is like the biggest DC fan ever, like probably even bigger than Rob, right? And I thought, dude, I should get some cameras rolling. I should bring this guy into the studio and we could like cut it up, man, and just talk about hardcore stuff. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't do it, but I'd probably need some kind of a connection to you. You'd either need to be like a friend of mine, or maybe we were at the same comic shop together before or whatever. Like, would I do it randomly for a person that I don't know? No. In fact, I'm probably not even gonna answer if you reach out in another forum, right? And that's not because I'm being rude. It's just like, man, I'm busy, bro. You know what I mean? We got shit going on, you know, Warhammer and whatnot. Darth Snape 66 with a $20 holla. That's very generous, bro. says, I loved it. I was tearing up the whole time because of how beautiful it was. Thank you for showing me Hickman's FF run. It hit in a special way. Oh, I'm happy for you, man. And yeah, that deep dive we did last year was one of the best deep dives we have done. That was awesome. As a big fan of Hickman and a big fan of what he did in the Fantastic Four, this is a great spiritual adaptation to it. It's different in a lot of ways, but the kids, the family, that whole element, strong. Back from Barbados, seeing it tonight, just stopping by to say hi. Oh, that's sick, man. What, Barbados, the restaurant? Or Barbados, like, the place? The hell? The hell? Matt Shackman directed an episode of the most cinematic TV shows like Game of Thrones, The Boys, Succession, and Monarch. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, look, here's I kind of shared. You guys know me, right? Like, you know, I gotta kind of be the shyster. I gotta stir the pot a little bit. Let me show you some of the fine tweets I have cooked up. Here's a take, and it wants me to promote it because it's blowing up. Stop that. Get it out of here. Elon, I'm not paying. Fuck out of here. I can't read it. Okay. Superman is like a kid that's been held back, finally going into the next grade. Fantastic Four is an honors student already earning college credits. That's a good take. That shit's going to pop off. That's going to get a couple thousand likes, I'm telling you. That's a good take. Let's see. Another one. You can only smile like this when you make a better movie than the literal president of the competition. That's good work. You know, I mean, that's good work. You know, like, dude, some people live their whole life and they waste their talent. You know what I mean? Not me. I know my lanes. It's so good. So good. Okay, anyway. What else is up, guys? What are we doing? Oh, we've only been going for like an hour 45. I think, okay, I got to be honest. We're probably going to have to get out of here relatively soon. Even though we've only been going about 2 hours, I have not stopped talking. And there have been a lot of super chats. I've read a lot of chats. I've read a lot of comments. There's a lot of talky, a lot of thinky. My brain kind of hurts. Okay, so can we chill it down a little bit? Like, let's fucking chill it down a little bit. Here's what I'll do, chat. I'm going to go make a coffee. I'll give you, oh yeah, I left at one point. That's true. Let me go get a coffee. We'll take it down a couple of notches. I'll chill with you guys for like a half hour more. Okay, does that feel good? Does that feel all right? I'll leave this incredible tweet up. I'm going to go put a coffee on. We'll go for like a half hour more. Does that sound fair? Okay. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Did everybody leave? Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? What else is going on, man? Took him forever to make that coffee? No, it did not. I did a little Nespresso, though, bruh. Oh, I love it. I don't want to spill it. You see that? Ooh. Rossi says, while Josh is gone, I just wanted to say that the Tron Ares 9 Inch Nails song is pretty great. Also, it's no Pink Pony Club. What is, you know? What the fuck is this Pink Pony Club song? I've never heard this song. I almost feel like you're trolling me. Is it even a real song? Logan says, rank F4, Guardians 3, Deadpool 3, Thunderbolts. F4, Thunderbolts, Guardians 3, Deadpool 3. In that order. F4 is something special, man, for sure. For sure. It's a real song? Doubt it. Galactus destroying the planet scene is the best MCU visual ever. I think so too, man. It was so peak. And like I said before, I want to see that with like Annihilus, the War of the Kings, maybe like the Cancer verse. There's the Shi'ar. What was the what was the race that in the comics Star-Lord is actually a prince? And his dad is named Jason, and he's like a king of some alien kingdom. I forget what they're called. But like, so we've heard the next whole Marvel thing is really going to focus on the cosmic, right? It's going to be mutants, but it's also going to be like sort of with an eye towards the cosmic. Spartax, that's it. Dude, I'm telling you, this was such a nice thing to experience as a fan, considering all the places we're about to go. To be honest with you, I'm thinking about going to see this movie again today. Let me should I go to Fandango and see? I should probably check with the wife before I head off to see the movie alone. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing it. Was the ship coming from the center of the planet? Yeah, it kind of seems like it slammed into the planet and then just like devoured it. I might be going 3 times this weekend. Dude, I might too. We'll see. We'll see. She won't mind. Trust me. I mean, she probably won't mind. But I tell you what she would maybe mind is me making the decision without talking to her. Does that make sense? She won't mind me going, but she'd probably appreciate maybe being like, hey, are you going to be okay with the kids while I go be a friggin' adult man-child? Thanks for the gifted membership, X9008. Appreciate you, bro. It's a shame Gunn changed Quill's origin because he can never get his sister Victoria. I liked Ego change, but it's a pretty big retcon. Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's a work trip. It is technically a work trip, yeah. Galactus ship has auger aura. What's an auger? I feel like, is that from Pacific Rim? Bring home food after? That's a good idea. Bring out the whiteboard! We got a lot to talk about still. You know, this is just kind of like my raw reaction to the film. There's different theories I want to cook up, you know, some speculation. But the movie itself, my God. My God. Auger is a drill? Oh, yeah, I knew that. Mold Man! So good. Everybody knows about augers. Duh. Do you think the ending should have instead been Galactus winning and eating the Earth and the F4 flee on their ship to 616 to connect to the Thunderbolts? No. No. I mean, look, that could have been cool. It would have been really shocking, right? But I gotta say, I feel like that would have felt a little too Marvel-y, if that makes sense. I'm actually glad they did it this way. This also allows for them to have a lot of scenes between Reed and Doom. Which it does seem like they're going to have some scenes in Doomsday. Yeah. Sue has that effect in the comics, though. Like, many different villains appreciate Sue and are willing to have a conversation with her. Which, by the way, like, if you are married or you've ever been in, like, a long-term relationship, that'll be a thing. Like, there's probably people out there, maybe even some of you crazy nerd vengers, that you know to bring certain things to Elisa rather than me. And some of our family friends probably know that. My family definitely does. Like, if my family wants us to actually be at a time, at a place, they're not going to hit me up. They're going to hit up my wife, you know? So, yeah, that shit's real. Yep. That's what it is. The responsible one. Yeah, it's usually the case, yeah. You think Reed is going to take Galactus' ship? Dude, that's actually a fucking phenomenal idea. I hadn't even considered that. Whoa. Holy shit. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? That I'm now we're cooking a little bit, guys. Now we're cooking a little bit, because do you remember what Reed said? He said it would take him about 10 years to figure it out. We get a 1-year time jump at the end of the movie. We get a 4-year time jump after that. We're 5 years after Reed encountered Galactus. Okay. That could be good. Bro, what even is Superman? F4, baby! Marvel is back. Marvel is certainly back. I feel really good right now. I feel really fucking good, chat. Other than the way my curly hair is making me look bald. I'm not bald, guys. I just have a Vegeta-like widow's peak, okay? So it looks normal, but it's actually like comes to a pin right here, and then I just like fluff all the hair in the beginning or the middle front. Hair looking good. Thank you, Shred. Hell yeah. You're so much nicer than everybody else in this goddamn chat. The Herbie popcorn bucket in your background would have looked sick. That's true. So would the Galactus one, man. I need that Galactus, bruh. Especially when you ignore Marvel shows. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry, okay? It's nothing against the shows. I have to preserve my love as a fan. It's just too much. I mean, Kevin himself said it was too much. How can you say it's too much? How can you say you're going to slow down and then give us 9 projects in 2025 and expect me to fucking do this every single time? Like, no. No. And I'm not your enemy, Kevin. I'm a big fucking fan. But I also have kind of been trying to light the beacons of Gondor for like 2 years. You should have canceled shit. It's going to probably work out, but some of this stuff should have gone. Maybe Galactus will have a new herald now that Shalabal destroyed him. Yeah, I think so too. I think probably yes. Maybe Norin Rad. Yep, Aaliyah, that's exactly correct. And I am having a better experience as a fan because of it. Pedro Pascal hairline greater than Josh's hairline? Yeah. You're not fucking wrong, dude. Pedro's got a pretty good hairline, you know? I got that Vegeta shit going on. I don't know what you want me to say. Okay? You want me to fucking cry about it? Okay, fine, I will. Doug a Ditch says, any theory on why the ship in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene is different to the one in F4? Likely because there is an even further time jump. I think maybe even 5 years after this post-credit scene. Here's why. Now, again, we have to take everything from the scoopers with a grain of salt. But the casting stuff, they've been pretty spot on. Daniel reported that Franklin will be 10 to 13 years old in Doomsday. That implies another 5 years past the post-credit scene. And remember, because it's a different reality, they can go from the 1960s into the 1970s and then go through a portal and still arrive in 2025 in the 616. So that's probably what it is. Sir, how about the new South Park season? Thoughts? I didn't see it, but I mean, look, there's a reason those guys are the best of the best. I think it's absolutely hilarious. They got 1.5 billion and then turned around and talked shit on Paramount, you know, put Trump's uncensored penis on. Like, dude, the balls on these guys, you got to give it up to these fucking guys. They've been doing it for almost, 20 years. They're always in your face. They're always pushing the envelope. They'll take shots at everybody. And also, here's what I'll say about this. There's a whole bunch of people right now that are super happy that they took shots at Trump, and they were so butthurt when South Park took shots at Kathleen Kennedy. Like, you're not fucking cool. You're not even keeled. You're not like, ha ha ha, this is awesome. No, you're still playing for a team. You were butthurt when they made fun of Kathleen Kennedy, and now you're praising it when they make fun of Trump. The truth is, they were spot on both times. You know, these guys don't miss, man. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal likes scented candles. I don't know what that means, but sure. Yeah, make fun of everybody. You got to. I wonder if there's going to be their own Thanos fight between them in Doomsday. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of an interesting question. I don't know. I feel attacked. Well, if you feel attacked, maybe we're talking about you. Galactus stories alone could sustain the FF franchise. The trial of Reed Richards, go through Doomsday, Secret Wars, Galactus returns to 616. They almost kill him. There's a lot of fun stuff they can do. For sure, brother. For sure. It really shows his power if they did a scene like that. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Pedro Pascal on Namor being a part of Avengers Doomsday. No comment. Oh, what a week. What a week. What a film. Feels good. I still have so much more content to do. I'm going to do an ending explain, post-credit scene, detailed breakdown. That'll go out tomorrow. There's a lot of scripts I want to write. I actually have a lot of videos for DC still and for the MCU. So it's good. It's a good time, man. Who is the hidden production guy? I have 2 caps now. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're talking about. Saw a theory that Franklin reaching for Doom's face was him healing the scar. I mean, I understand why people think that, but no. No. Arishem versus Galactus, who wins? Ooh, that's a good question. I think the Celestials are a little bit stronger than Galactus, but also I think that it takes several Celestials to defeat Galactus. But Arishem is like above most Celestials. He's like a big boss. So maybe he would beat Galactus. Yeah. The guy they were hiding on set? Oh, let's just say... I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Maybe something will come out. Yeah. Are they the same height? Well, Galactus can change his size in the comics, although I don't think he changed his size in this film. I think he was actually the same size both times. Bro, they're making a Wolfenstein series at Amazon? The same team that made Fallout? Dude, what? Holy shit. Amazon is fucking going for it, bro. God damn. God damn, that's crazy. And I'll have you guys know. Okay, I'll have you guys know. Because everybody's like, oh, Josh, you're just abandoning us for Warhammer and all this, blah, 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 blah. I'll have you know there's a tournament at my local shop tomorrow. And instead of painting all week, getting some stuff ready, and spending all day playing this tournament tomorrow, which would be absolutely amazing, I'm going to be working on videos for you guys. Fantastic Four videos. DC videos. So, yeah. You guys think I don't make any sacrifices. But I do. Hoping to go to a couple tournaments in August, though. That would be great. That would be great. Sorry for the outburst. It's okay. I know I have to send you some Eldar. I think once I send you some Eldar and you're holding it in your hands and touching it, I think you're going to feel differently. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate you too, brother. SDCC coverage, we're going to talk about all of that on Monday. So Monday's stream, probably going to be a pretty big one. We'll go over Fantastic Four numbers. And then we'll also go over SDCC stuff. Dude, there's so much cool stuff. There's the, they just announced, here, I'll show you this before we get out of here today. Look at this shit, bro. By the way, they brought Silver Surfer into this game, and of course they just made it Norrin Rat, because that's what everybody would do. Damn, Big G. Oh shit, Beta Ray Bill! Oh my god, dude, the Silver Surfer looks so fucking good in this game. God damn. Oh my god. Holy shit. Silver Strike. Silver Strike. I'm gonna play the shit out of this game, dude. Oh, hell yeah. Oh! 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 Oh, shit! Combination. Cosmic invasion. You know, that shit's gonna be lit. That shit's gonna be lit. I'm so excited for that shit. It's gonna be fun. So that, a lot of the Marvel MTG stuff. Oh man. Oh man, there's so much cool nerdy shit happening. Oh, I'm so excited. Good times. Good times ahead. No, that's Beta Ray Beth, says Kevin Feige. I know, right? Jesus. PS5? Maybe. I think it's cross-platform. Let's see, actually. I think it's cross-platform. Yeah, PC and consoles, although it doesn't technically say it's cross-platform there, but I think it is. On all your favorite platforms. Yeah, they're not technically saying cross-platform, but it's multi-platform. I could ask some people, find out. I like this beat. It's kind of fun. Oh! I feel like DC needs to make deals with other companies to make profits. Maybe, or maybe they just build on what they have. I mean, I like Superman, you know, and it could still etch out a profit. We'll see. But I think Superman is a great building block, you know, but you got to build. The next blocks are important. So. What's Superman? Superman's a real good movie. I liked it. Josh, how do you keep your kids quiet when streaming? If I stream with my son, would be so loud. They're upstairs. They're upstairs with their mom. And sometimes I can still hear them, to be honest. Yeah, just trying to... part of why I got the headphones on, I can monitor my audio. It also helps me to kind of be like focused, you know. Gotta be focused. Aaliyah, I totally agree. I think the future of the DCU, if it pivots away from Gunn and it pivots more into the talent, the characters, I think it's going to do better for them. I think he's number one. I think he's just too... I think people are still divided on him. I think he's a little bit cringe. Yeah, I think it's definitely a barrier for some people, you know? And you know, you don't have to agree or whatever, but that's my take. I think they'd be wise to sort of pivot away from that. Don't you still think Doom and Wanda are still true? Hard to say. You know, I heard Doom and Wanda was a thing for Doomsday, and then it's going to be Sue and Doom in Secret Wars. Now, though, especially with this post-credit scene, Sue and Doom seems like it could be the whole thing. We'll see, though. We'll see. Sent you a mural in Superman on Discord. James Gunn just posted it. General on Discord. Oh, okay, cool. Let me check it out. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of the characters from the Justice Society era. So that's one of the murals from... Okay, cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool stuff. Look, I'm giving Superman some shit today because I think Fantastic Four is better, but I still really like Superman. I'm still really excited for the DCU. It's actually great. Like, DC actually has a fighting chance here. DC has a future. I'm excited for all of that. You know what I mean? But today, I had to take a little victory lap. You know, I'm more of a Marvel fan. I obviously put money on Fantastic Four, and bruh, they're killing it. You know what I mean? Like, they fucking killed it. I had incredibly high expectations for Fantastic Four, and it blew me the fuck away, dude. Like this is some real shit. Like, whoa. Yeah. Do you think there's a chance Superman can hit 700? Is there a chance? Yeah, but it'd have to leg out pretty crazy for like a lot of weeks moving forward. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna see. Superman might struggle to get to 5. I bet after this weekend it'll be at like 430 worldwide. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We'll have to see. We'll know more on Monday. Dude, this is crazy. In Japan, the Demon Slayer movie is doing better than Fantastic Four. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but still, that's pretty wild. Dude, what? Dude, apparently I did not realize this. Oh, 23rd biggest preview of all time. Okay, I misread that. I was like, whoa. Biggest Disney preview earners ever. So Endgame did 60, Infinity War 39, Deadpool Wolverine 38, Multiverse of Madness is 36. Love and Thunder was 29. That's crazy. Civil War did 25. That's pretty crazy. Black Panther 25. Bro, this thing is creeping into that $1 billion club with some of these other films here. But it's really going to depend on the legs. Like Wakanda Forever and Love and Thunder open up higher than Fantastic Four on Thursday, but I think fail to get to 6 and 7, right? I think Wakanda Forever made 8, actually, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out. Oh, it's basically like a dream scenario for me, man. You know, this thing's crushing it. The movie's incredible. DC's back, and we're about to pivot into Warhammer. Let's go. Let's go, Warhammer. Ah, yes. Yes, it is the last big blockbuster. It doesn't have competition like Superman. I mean, look, guys. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. Okay? But did I not say this shit? Have I not been consistent on the take? And by the way, even when Superman had its opening weekend, a bunch of you DC fans were really feeling yourself. And you were like, Josh, are you worried? Bro, I said the same shit I'm saying to you today that I said then. Are you worried? No. Here's why. Now it's happening in real time. Hello? No, those are Gunther's, not DC fans. I mean, maybe a little of both. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, so many people were like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, no, I think the same thing I thought when I made the bet. I think the same thing I think now as more data comes in. Yeah. I calls it like I sees it, you know? Yeah. Full history of the metahumans. This is kind of cool. Yeah, this does what about the Alan Scott stuff though? And the Dr. Fate stuff? He's not talking about that. That was in the movie clearly. Interesting though. Okay. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get on out of here. Can we talk about how Ben actually said it? Yeah. When's the next deep dive? I'm not sure. We definitely will do one. My member chat. Okay. I feel like the scene talking about using Franklin as bait laid the groundwork for Sue leaving Reed like she did in the comics. Either way, 9.5 out of 10. We back. Yeah, I think there's something there. Yeah, I think there's something there for sure. Josh, one more minute? What? You said you wanted to talk about theories and possibilities? Yeah, I do, but I'm also a little brain dead. You know, like I just gushed about the movie for like 2 hours. So I need to like give my brain a break. Plus, I want to see this movie again. I'm probably going to go out, see it again, and then formulate all sorts of more theories and speculation. And we'll do a lot of that next week. Shut up and dribble. Yeah. Sheesh. 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 It's actually Josh as Doom wearing the mask, but behind and getting Franklin? Maybe. I do have my Dr. Doom mask now, and I did enjoy putting it on. Yeah. Did you wear it to the theater? No, I did not. Yeah. Let's see a Zack Snyder Punisher movie. Ooh, that would be sick. Yo, who else do you think they recast after Secret Wars? I'm thinking Hulk, Bucky, for sure. Hawkeye, Fury, maybe. Who else? Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe everybody, man. Maybe just do everybody. That would be kind of fun, huh? The Truder, or the Truders says. Yeah, I don't know. That's a fun conversation to have. Maybe worth a whole stream. Maybe worth a whole video. Yeah, it's good shit. No freaky time stories on stream. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying about that. I don't understand. I must have missed something. Huh? Oh, Blink would be cool. Yeah. I was big sad my theater sold out of the Galactus buckets. Me too, man. I'm also shocked that they only got 8 of them. That doesn't make any sense, bro. Are you kidding me? Fuck. The fuck? Anyways, guys, look, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love this movie. I love this community. I love being a fan. This is awesome. It feels so good. I think this is something we've wanted for a long time, to just feel like we're back, to just feel like the quality is back, to feel like the future is bright, and to speculate and have theories and, you know, just head towards the future. This is so cool. This is a good time to be a nerd. It's a good time to be a nerd-venger. And we're going to do a lot of streams going over stuff next week as well. I have a video dropping for you guys tomorrow, which is going to do a detailed breakdown of the ending and the post-credit scene. I'll get into some theories and some speculation in that. And then we'll be back at it on Monday. Also, who do you think will have a bigger role in Secret Wars versus their role in Doomsday? Also, vice versa, whose roles will be diminished in Secret Wars? I think you're going to get Reed and 616 have big roles in Doomsday. I think Reed and OGs have the big roles in Secret Wars. This would be like actual Steve Rogers, you know, probably all the OG Avengers, your Tobey Maguire, your Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Thor. That's what I think. That's the TLDR. But I'll do more videos and whatnot on that as well, because that's an interesting topic. Interesting topic. Okay, everybody. Hey, much love, man. Appreciate y'all. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Another happy landing. Another peak Marvel movie. My God, they might actually be turning this ship around. I can't fucking believe it. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin didn't go banger, 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 and then right after X-Men, drop the mic and fuck off. I think Phase 5, Phase 4, crazy. I think he was not involved in the way that he should have been. I think he let a lot of shit go. And I think he's now back to taking full ass control. And I think he's going to give us literally 6 fucking bangers in a row. Thunderbolt, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 4, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and X-Men. And then after that, he's going to be like, okay, legacy secured. Everybody knows I can still do it. I'm out. Damn. We might be watching that last run of a generational athlete trying to get a couple more championships, and then he's out. You know? That last big fight for a big fighter. This is crazy. Anyway, I'm glad, man, you know, because I'm going to sit here and fucking yap all day. But look, the truth is, I was always a nerd. I'd always talk about this shit, but before the channels, I'd have to find the right folks. You know, people at school, people at work, or, you know, friends or whatever, right? Now, thanks to this, I can get out here. I can talk about this shit with you guys every single day. We have gone through a ton of stuff together. We have been through the peak. We have been through the valley. And it is awesome. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. It is awesome to be able to get out here and yap and talk about the things I love and experience the love of that thing with other fans. This is cool. So feeling very grateful today. And looking forward to the future. All right, everybody. I'm going to get on out of here. Hey, do me a favor, though. Actually, make it 2. Change the song first. Fuck that song. I don't like that one either. That'll do. Actually, 2. Actually, I don't like this one either. Hang on. So, do that one. There you go. Okay. Okay. Here's you know what it is. Open up your third eye. Wash out your stinky butthole. I'll see you later.